Good morning. The words to this opening song are, "As we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us, we choose love." They repeat a bunch, so you'll get a chance to learn it if you don't know it already. As we gather. The spirit that unites us, as we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us, as we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us, we choose love, we choose love. If any families or children want to light candles at this time, feel free. As we gather. As we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us. As we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us. As we gather together and we hold in our hearts the spirit that unites us, we choose love, we choose love, we choose love. We choose love, love chooses us. We choose love. We choose love. We choose love. We choose love. We choose
If a person cannot solve a conflict with a friend, how can they possibly contribute to larger efforts for peace? If we refuse to speak to a friend because we project our anxieties onto an email they wrote, how are we going to welcome refugees, immigrants, and the homeless into our communities? The values required for social repair are the same values required for personal repair.
Rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn number 134 in the gray hymnal, Our World is One World.
we welcome each other into this place of love, inclusion, and compassion. We create sacred space together. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. Whatever your immigration or employment status, whatever your gender identity or source of your faith, whatever the color of your skin or your national origin, whatever your bank balance, education level, or politics, you are welcome here.
Unitarian Universalist faith. The words are in your order of service. Blessed is the fire of our faith and a chalice of our community. Blessed is the living tradition carried forward in our work and our love. Blessed is a transient flame we kindle here. Blessed is the illuminating moment of our gathering. Blessed is the light of the eternal. Blessed is the sacred call of life, which we give ourselves in answer.
Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome. My name, for those who haven't met yet, is Jake Powell, and I use they, them pronouns. I first walked through those doors on a Sunday morning almost 8 years ago. It's easy to remember because it was an Easter service. I was still kind of getting my footing in the city, and walking in, my highest hope was just finding somewhere to support my Creaster habit. That is, only going to services on Christmas and Easter. Of course, what I found exceeded those expectations by quite a bit. From that first Sunday, I was immediately swept into vibrant, queer and young adult communities that made me feel so at home here. I particularly knew that I'd found my spiritual home when I realized I could reliably expect to run into fellow congregants at any protest I showed up to, like without fail. Over the years, apartments and jobs have come and gone, and my involvement in other community orgs has kind of ebbed and flowed, but this congregation has remained a constant, an anchoring place, but also a place for growth. When I was ready to start a big career change journey, I immediately found mentors and supporters here at First U that made it possible. This congregation trusted me to try out a leadership role, serving on the board for the past 3 years, where I've been really lucky to learn incredibly valuable lessons about what it takes to support and maintain such a vibrant and democratic community. Now I'm preparing to start a new chapter in my life. This fall, I'll be getting married. Thank you, it's exciting. And I couldn't be more excited to be welcoming my family and friends from across the country right here to this sanctuary to celebrate that new chapter of my life on the firm grounding that this community has given me. So in the spirit of building a strong foundation for our shared growth, I invite you to turn and greet one another.
Is it good? Is it good?
Your story. I know you have a lot of stories to tell this morning, which is great. Thank you. If anyone else would like to join me up in the front, children of any age are very welcome. All right, I'm Becky, and I'm here to tell the story, and I think it's a true story. It certainly sounds like a true story. And to help me this morning, I've asked our coming of age crew for this year, -1, to help me out. So please welcome up Julius, Elliot, and Lucia. You'll be seeing them again in May 31st. Mark your calendars. This story You're right. We can't have anyone slipping. This story is, I think is a true story. A congregation in America, Unitarian congregation in America, someplace I think in the suburbs, because they had like land and playgrounds and trees. Like, imagine, how cool would that be if we had that? They had this one big beautiful tree, and so they decided to build a tree house. People donated lumber and materials, and people donated their time, and so over weekends, they hammered and sawed and put together a beautiful tree house. It had windows, it had a little door, it had a slide to go down, and a ladder to climb up. It was gorgeous. And the kids loved it. Wouldn't you love a tree house like that? Amazing. However, it soon became apparent that perhaps it was a problem that the kids all loved the treehouse because it got very crowded very fast. The teenagers wanted to sit in the treehouse and talk and solve all the problems of the world and just chill. And some of the kids wanted to just run up the ladder and go down the slide as fast as possible over and over and over again. And some of the kids wanted to sit and do art projects and collage and paint. And other kids wanted to have a theater group and put on shows in the treehouse. And then the little kids just wanted to try to get up the ladder, and it was really hard, and they needed help in the scary slide. So one day, one little kid got hurt in the treehouse because there was just too many kids in it, and they were fighting. And the adults came and said, "That's it! Everybody out of the treehouse. That treehouse is closed until further notice." Grown-ups, they're the worst. So then there were meetings, the Religious Education Council and the staff and the parent group, and there were emails and there were Zooms. There's so many emails, and the board of trustees met, and do we have to consult the lawyers, and maybe we should reach out to the UUA, and maybe they have a policy on this, and you know how it goes. So finally they had a congregational meeting to vote and decide, what are we going to do about the treehouse? Maybe we have to tear it down. I don't know. What's going to happen to the treehouse? And while they were having the meeting, they realized that the kids were out there playing really nicely together and cooperating. And they thought, wait a minute, what's going on? So they called them over and said, what's going on?
We made a covenant, of course.
Oh, they made a covenant. And the adults remembered they had taught the kids every year in every RE class about making covenants, about making agreements together of how to be safe and how to be happy together. And they had listened to that. And so the kids figured out a way of taking turns and sharing the treehouse without any grown-ups at all figuring it out. So the congregational meeting got to end early, and they all lived happily ever after. Today we're going to, we have an organ to play us down. We're going to make our rainbow arch and go out to our classes. Come on.
And now I invite us into a moment of stillness and reflection. This time is yours to use as you wish. I'll keep time. O great Spirit, be with us now. Remind us what is truly important in our lives. Not riches nor fame, all of which pass away with the material world. Instead, what matters is that which cannot be measured and yet remains after our material bodies pass on. Love, hope, kindness, memory. It is so easy to be led away from Spirit, from grace, from love. We're lured away by our own righteous anger. We forget our own holiness in the midst of our own insecurities. We become caught up in the gains of capitalism, of needing more in order to wipe away the fears of being left with nothing. We convince ourselves that our own value is equal to the money that we make, or having the right opinions, or the right car, or the right clothes, when really, we all already have inherent worth and dignity. We are all already sacred. We are made of star stuff. We are the universe, and yet we also observe the universe. And when we forget that, when we forget Spirit, we forget ourselves. We forget that we are Spirit itself. And so let us not forget Spirit. Let us not forget that the divine is in the battlefields of Jerusalem and Ukraine and South Sudan and Myanmar. Let us not forget that Spirit, that the divine spark drives our subway trains, teaches in our classrooms, stocks our supermarket shelves, and builds our homes. Let us not forget that the divine languishes in prison and in detention centers, that Spirit resides in each and every child born onto this earth, and so resides in each and every one of us. Each and every one of us is already holy, and that is what matters more than any promise of gold or power or authority. And we also bear in our hearts those in our community who are also part of Spirit. Nancy Witherell passed away early Saturday morning, peacefully in her sleep. Her husband, Tom Check, requests privacy at this time. He welcomes cards sent to their address, which you can find in the church directory, or an email that went out to members a couple of weeks ago, or you can ask the church office. He will let us know when he is ready for other forms of contact. And now, into this sacred space, we speak out loud or add to the chat the names of other loved ones we are praying for this morning. Candles of joy or sorrow. If you're joining us online, please feel free to light a candle in your own home. If you're lighting a candle in the sanctuary and you are in need of a candle that is not up a step, we have a handful of candles and a small table next to the chalice up front. If you feel that you need to be heard, or if there's something on your heart that you would like to share, we have a space for you after the service. Michelle Kuchuk of the Caring Ministry will be in the Chapel of All Faiths to my left after the service. Will you indulge me in a little bit of an experiment? If you feel brave, you can raise your hand when I ask, who here is over the age of 65? Okay. Who here is under the age of 35? Oh, okay. Who here was born and raised in New York? Ooh, okay, good chunk of hands. All right. Oh, I meant the city. Okay. All So who here grew up in a small town? Oh, okay. Who here is a renter? Who rents your abode? Okay, who here is a homeowner? Okay. I don't know if you've been looking around, but it's like a pretty even number of hands each time. Who here was raised Unitarian Universalist? Okay, and who here was raised with in a faith not Unitarian Universalist? Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of hands. Who here was raised with no faith tradition at all? Okay, so a lot of the nuns here, I think is what they say. So the point that I'm getting at is that there are all different kinds of Unitarian Universalists. We pride ourselves on our pluralism, which is a way of saying that we pride ourselves on our diversity. Pluralism means that there is no one majority type of Unitarian Universalist, and we draw from all different kinds of faith traditions. Some of us follow the way of Jesus. Some of us come from a Jewish background. Some of us are atheist or agnostic. There are also UU Buddhists, UU Hindus, UU Muslims, UU Wiccans, UUs who follow an indigenous spirituality, and UUs who say, I believe in some kind of higher power, I guess, I don't know, maybe, depends on the day. But we would make a mistake to think that religious pluralism is the only kind of pluralism that exists in our congregations. We are diverse in other ways as well, which was illustrated by the way people raised their hands earlier, really even numbers in a lot of these categories. So there is quite a bit of diversity in this congregation, maybe not racially, still looks pretty white out there, we'll work on that. But in other ways, this congregation is pretty diverse in terms of age, origin, class, so on and so forth, which is great. Good job, First U. We love to see a multi-generational congregation that loves to celebrate all different kinds of cultures, faith traditions, skin colors, sexual orientations, gender identities, and all the things that make us different. Because diversity makes us stronger. Right? 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 Yes. And it does also bring with it a certain kind of tension. Because you would be kidding yourself to think that in a congregation as diverse as this one, that there aren't things that we disagree on. So, I have a story to tell that I think I've told before, but I'm going to add a little bit onto it that I don't think I shared last time. So this story is about how once upon a time I was on the fence about the death penalty. I was sort of like, oh, I can see arguments for and against it, I don't know, I can see both sides. And then I started going to a UU church. And after a few years going to the First Unitarian Church of Oakland, I was, I guess, just thinking about the death penalty one day, as one does. And I had a new thought. And this new thought started with the phrase, as a Unitarian Universalist. And it went, as a Unitarian Universalist, I cannot support the death penalty. And it kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, I've been brainwashed. But really it was me allowing my faith to work on me and to transform me and to push me, And I told this story to my internship committee back when I was an intern. We have an intern now. Yvonne Garrett is our intern. Hi, Yvonne. I told this story to my internship committee, and one of them said, well, that's just your opinion. That's just your opinion. I mean, I support the death penalty. And I realized that this member of my intern committee, disagreed with me, that we disagreed very fundamentally on this thing that I thought was very clear, that that no Unitarian Universalist could support the death penalty, but somehow apparently he felt that it was not incompatible with his Unitarian Universalist values to support the death penalty. And so you may find that your fellow Unitarian Universalists, some of whom may be sitting in this very room, may disagree with you on corporate taxes, gun control, whether or not we should have a standing military, reparations. Your fellow Unitarian Universalists may disagree with you on prison abolition, housing justice, or whether or not transgender kids should be able to play sports. You may think their opinions are wrong or even disgusting to you. And yet, they are also part of your community. You work side by side, sorting clothes for the Unifair thrift sale. You serve on the board together. You sing in the choir together. I may have disagreed with that member about the death penalty, but that did not make him any less a member of my internship committee, and it does not make him any less of a Unitarian Universalist. I still see him at General Assembly every year. We say hi, we catch up. That is a part of what it means to be in community and what it means to be part of a chosen faith. It means that we are in community even when we disagree. And that is a gift. I do think that is a gift. As uncomfortable as it is a blessing, because in this world where it is too easy to retreat to opposite corners of the internet and never have to engage with someone who disagrees with you, this is a blessing. Because we have made pluralism one of our values, it commits us to practice over and over, loving and affirming each other as sacred beings, diverse in our cultures, backgrounds, and theologies. Even when I do not agree with your opinion, I love you. In fact, I may love you enough to try to change your mind. Even though I do not agree with your take, I love you. Of course, some differences of opinion will not be tolerated. Straight up racism, homophobia, sexism, ableism will not be tolerated. We are intolerant of intolerance. But in many other things, we figure it out. We figure out how to discuss, we figure out how to be together, and we transform ourselves in the process, much like the children did with their treehouse in the wisdom story. Because that is the real work. That is the real work that we are engaged in day after day, week after week, is just the work of figuring out how to be together. That is the work of building the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream of a beloved community. A world community where poverty and racism have been eradicated because people of conscience have decided that they just will not stand for it. A world where there are no wars because we have committed ourselves to working through conflict without violence. And that starts here. That starts here. That starts with facing someone that you disagree with, maybe even passionately, and seeing them as, no matter what, a member of your community. That doesn't mean you can't try to change their mind, or that we don't hold people accountable for the harm that they cause, but we see them first and foremost as a sacred being. And once we figured it out here, we figure it out in other places. We figure it out in our schools and our offices and City Hall and the State House, all the way up, until it's not just our little community, but a world community. This congregation has weathered a lot of conflicts over the years. Conflicts over slavery, over whether or not to enter World War II, whether or not we should be in Vietnam. One recent conflict, about 20 years ago, was over the minister himself. Some people liked him, some people couldn't stand him. I hear it was so bad that people literally took sides, as in sat on opposite sides of the sanctuary. It was not a good time. And by the end of it, the congregation was so sick of itself that they did really hard, really beautiful work in healing and restoring relationships. And so that ugly time resulted in something beautiful. It resulted in the vibrant, welcoming congregation that we have today. And it resulted in something else, the creation of the Right Relations Covenant. Also that thing that the children learn about in their Sunday school classes week after week. Did you know that? Did you know that this was where the Right Relations Covenant came from? We read it before every congregational meeting to remind ourselves of how we commit to be with one another. It's a gift that was given to us by that struggle, by that struggling period in this congregation's history. I've included a copy in every person's order of service. So if you look in your order of service, there should be an insert with the Right Relations Covenant. We didn't get a chance to read it in the most recent congregational meeting because there was a huge impending blizzard on that day. And so we skipped a lot of things that we would normally have done in order to not be snowed in here. So let's read it now. We are mindful that, I can't hear you. We are mindful that as individuals and members of this spiritual community, we are each accountable for our words, deeds, and behavior. Therefore, whenever we worship, work together, or relate to one another, we agree to follow the following behavior covenant. I will strive to respect and cherish diversities of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual and/or affectional orientation, identity/gender expression, age, ability, beliefs, and ideas. Assume good intentions. Trust in and speak well of one another. Give the benefit of the doubt. Examine my own intentions. Foster an environment of compassion, generosity, fellowship, and creativity. Smile and be welcoming. Share in the responsibilities of congregational life. Actively support the congregation's activities and pledge financial support. Express appreciation and gratitude for the rich variety of gifts and talents shared among us. Empower others. Speak the truth as I experience it with kindness, care, and respect. Make decisions democratically through agreed upon processes. Promote fairness and decency. Speak out against injustice. Face others directly in agreement or disagreement. Act with respect and humility when I disagree with others. Be mindful that words and actions may cause unintended pain. Seek out understanding and wisdom in the presence of conflict. Resolve conflicts through intentional compromise and collaboration, and, when necessary, request mediation. Understand that sometimes it is necessary to take no for an answer. Be forgiving. Practice self-care. Be open to hope. Of course, there are times when we're not able to live up to this covenant. We all make mistakes. We all break covenant from time to time. And still, we come back together and try again. I can only hope that this troubling period in the history of our country, in the history of our world, results in a beautiful coming together. I can only hope that we eventually get so sick of ourselves that we decide to change, and we heal ourselves, and we transform. And this last part is not a hope, it is a belief. I do believe that we are the ones who can and will lead the way, because this is the work that we've already been doing. I am open to hope. May it be so.
There's a change in your order of service. We're going to sing from the gray hymnal, hymn number 299. Make channels for the streams of love. And the choir is going to come up while we do it. Let's rise.
Streams of love, This month's offering we shared with the First U High School Youth Group. You can read more about this in your order of service. Our offering will be received with gratitude.
morning, everyone. My name is Tyrone Davis Jr. I use he, him pronouns, and I am your membership coordinator here at First U. I'm also so grateful to be a part of a community and a covenant in all of its challenges and joys and hope. So thank you very much, and it's good to see you all. Good morning. Good morning to, good morning, thank you. Oh, response. And good morning to everyone online as well. We have a great tradition here at First U where we like to say hello to all who are visiting us today. And here's how that goes. We have you stand up or shout out from your seat your name and the neighborhood that you're visiting from, and then we will all say to you in response, welcome. So when you shout your name and your neighborhood, I'll repeat it over the mic so everyone in the sanctuary and online can hear it, and then we will welcome you. So are there any visitors here today who are brave enough to let us know that you're here and chose to be here with us today? Yes, go ahead, stand up if you wish. Okay, so that's Aaron from Dumbo. Welcome. Good to see you. James from Dumbo. Welcome. One more from Dumbo? Will you repeat that one more time? Arden? That's Arden from Dumbo. Welcome. Dumbo is in the house. Love that. Okay. Any other visitors? Okay. That's Zero from Sheepshead Bay. Welcome. Back there. I missed your first name? Fernando from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome. And then that person in the same row who stood up? Yeah. Jill? Joe from Joe from Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you. Welcome. Yes? Morgan from Detroit, Michigan. Welcome. Right back there. Pamela from Prospect Heights. Welcome. Back in the corner. Your first name's Jara? Okay, let's do the people's mic. So who heard it and who can yell it back to me? Tara. It's me, I'm the problem. Jara. Dara. Oh, goodness, thank you. Now, let's see if I can remember the neighborhood. Okay, Dara from Jackson Heights? Forest Hills. This is going so well. Well, anyway, welcome. Any more visitors? Yes. Frank from Park City. Welcome. Any more? Yes. Phoebe from Fort Greene. Welcome. Any others? Okay. Oh, yes. Your first name? Will from Cobble Hill. Welcome. All right. So many visitors today. Thank you for bearing with me. But it's good to see you all. If you don't mind, there are white Visitor Connect cards in the white baskets in the pews in front of you. If you would just fill one of those out and turn them in at our coffee hour, which is held right after the service in the Undercroft downstairs. Deliver them to the welcome table. I will reach out to you this week with a friendly email. You will be put on the email e-news blast so you can get our news of what's going on. And you'll also have a name tag made for you that will be waiting right in the front for you the next time you visit. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Speaking of the welcome table, our board member at the table today who can answer any questions you may have about what's going on in the board is Barbara Bornman. Barbara, will you rise? Oh, she didn't know about it. Okay, there she is. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, great. So now on to announcements. Okay, so today in the library at 12:45, the Young Adult Ministry will be meeting right in the library behind that door right there. Newcomers are welcome. The Poetry of Devotion and Doubt group is meeting today where they read poetry. Today they are reading the poems of Anne and Branwell Bronte. If you're interested in reading those poems and discussing, please join them in the Francis White Room at 12:30 it says, but maybe 12:45, but maybe just check out and see whenever that's going to be. You can reach out to Beth Evans, whose email is in your order of service. The prayer, shawl, and craft ministry is also meeting today in the undercroft. You can bring needlework, or they can give you yarn and needles while you're there. The Chalice Circle group is happening for its final meeting tomorrow at 6:30 on Zoom. You meet with our intern minister, Yvonne Garrett, who will lead you through discussions around UU values in a covenant group model. Her email can be found in the order of service, so reach out if you're interested. Friday night is our Friday night open mic. If you have a song to sing, a poem, a story, a monologue, a comedy routine, please join us. There will be an accompanist there, so bring your sheet music if you got it. And that is this Friday in the chapel at 6:30. If you have any questions, reach out to Wendy Russell. And then our ministerial search is taking shape. If you are interested in a rare and wonderful opportunity to make a deep and long-lasting impact on the leadership and life of this congregation, consider applying to be a part of the ministerial search committee. You can also nominate someone. So if you think you or someone else would be a good fit, apply at the QR code in your order of service. Also, members from the nomination committee has made themselves available today at coffee hour to answer any questions that you may have. Will they all stand up? I'm going to say their names and point them out so that you can know who to look for. So we have Octavia Finley, who's up there. We have Rachel Stark. I don't know where. There's Rachel. Where's Patrick Gunn? That's Patrick. Rita Pearl. That's Rita Pearl, and then Mike Alkoff right there. Now, Spencer is behind me, and he's going to give you an update on stewardship stuff.
Hello, everybody. I'm Spencer Brill. My pronouns are he, him, and I have lost my name tag for the 5th time. I am the chair of the stewardship committee here at First U. So we had our first 4 stewardship events, which we're calling kindling gatherings this weekend, and I am buzzing. They were so much fun. I learned that we have a reputation for being the joyful church. I mean, if any indication from last week, I mean, wonderful. We lit candles, we had delicious food and drinks, and paused to reflect on the why of this community. We laughed, we cried, we bonded. At a gathering yesterday, actually, a new term was coined: micro-affections. It's the little bits of joy, of connection, of friendship, of warmth, of love that we give and get by being a part of this community. It's not to say that there aren't lots of macro-affections too, but there are too many to count. Additionally, it's my birthday next Sunday. I'm finally turning 21. My only birthday wish is for you to join a kindling gathering in the next 3 weeks. I'll be downstairs during coffee hour to help get you signed up. We have still many more spots available. It'll be so worth your time, I promise. It's such a great way to connect. We have so many fun events coming up, so come see me downstairs. I'll have a poster board and lots of pieces of paper. What gives me hope for this stewardship campaign season is that we sure do have a lot of faith in each other, that we are committed to building a better, more connected community, and that we are motivated to lift each other up, both spiritually and financially. As for pledge dates, April 5th is the day I want you to remember, Easter Sunday. That is the date we're going to build this giant sort of visual representation of our collective fire. So I want you to all say it with me. April 5th. Very good. Okay. Pledging online the day before, or by the day before on Saturday, or bringing in a physical pledge form on Easter Sunday is going to be the way to go. I'll be at the front, sort of, checking people in that day to make sure I get you the information you need, and also a really beautiful little flame piece to add to the collection. Again, if you've already pledged, we've got you covered. Lastly, sort of onto our next installment in the stewardship learning series, First U and You. So we are a bustling place. In the last 3 months, we've had an average of about 180 people sitting in the pews each week. Just the people counted in the pews is about 73% of our total active members. And that number doesn't include people on Zoom, our children attending programs downstairs, and the RE teachers working with them. If we accounted for the people in all weekly programming, it would be about 80% of our current membership. The average attendance of other UU congregations is closer to 60%. We are definitely outliers. One of the reasons is that clearly Brooklyn is a destination. I mean, you know. We all participate in welcoming visitors from across the country and the world every week. I mean, just from all the folks that are visiting here today, what an amazing thing. But more importantly, we are an engaged congregation, and we show up early and often for each other. Our friends are here, we get great hugs from each other, we give and receive micro-affections. Our robust and vibrant programming reflects this trend of showing up for each other. Personally, I'm sure like many of you, I love to visit other UU congregations when I travel. I visited quite a few. And while they are all unique in their own way, I've noticed one common trend. They all typically have shorter lists of announcements than we have at First U. Despite Tyrone doing an incredible job of collating and summarizing, there's a lot that we're doing. So what does this mean? And why are we talking about it in the context of stewardship? We do a lot here, maybe even more than you would expect given the size of our congregation. People have said we punch above our weight in terms of what we accomplish versus the size. Many members are involved in multiple committees or projects, and we include friends and visitors in much of congregational life. The beautiful, ethereal question of how do we do so much takes on a more pragmatic tone when it comes to budget time. No, really, how do we do so much? As we move through stewardship season, please join me in thinking about how our generosity directly fuels our work. What program or programs do you want to see grow and thrive in the next year? Let's work together to continue to hold the achievement as the congregation with the longest announcements and build our fire brighter. Thanks so much.
We're going to rise in body or spirit to sing number 162 in the gray hymnal. Gonna lay down my sword and shield. Invite you to step into your reputation as the joyful church. It can be tough reading a right relations covenant like super joyfully, as maybe you just experienced. However excited you are about the words you're saying, there's just a lot of words. Thank God we have music to step into the joy part. So this is kind of the musical setting, if you will, of our right relations covenant. I invite you to sing with joy.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside, study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Ain't gonna study
Okay, I'm going to tell you another quick story. I know everybody's standing, you're ready to go. But, so does anybody remember this guy named Richard Spencer? He was like a white supremacist Nazi guy. He got punched once. I'm not like pro-violence per se, but I'm not going to say that I was like, oh no, when he got punched either. Anyway, I listened to a very, very long podcast interview he gave many years ago because I was trying to sort of understand his mindset, right? And when it got to the very end, he said something along the lines of how diversity just doesn't work. Because when you get diverse groups of people together, when you get different people together, they fight. It's inevitable. And so that was his justification for why there should be a white nation. Everybody should just have their own nations because diversity just doesn't work. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, you're just a sad person. You're just a sad person if that's your worldview, that you don't believe we can be better than this. And I refuse to believe that. I refuse to be a sad person. I refuse to believe that conflict is inevitable. Or rather, I believe that conflict is inevitable, but that we can work through it without violence. And that's that. Go in peace.